Good kill, good kill. Hey, good kill.
Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at a concept called VIFFing, which stands for vectoring in forward flight. The Harrier VTOL or vertical takeoff and landing jet is able to rotate its engine nozzles at any speed and power setting, not only for vertical takeoff and landing, but also for VIFFing. This allows the Harrier to make radically tight controlled turns. Theoretically, in a dogfight, this can be used to outturn an opponent, or it can be used to dump massive amounts of speed in order to force an overshoot. It's commonly believed that VIFFing was discovered in the early days of the Harrier's life by the US Marine Corps. VIFFing entered popular consciousness and was quite widespread in the late 1970s and early 80s. There was a lot of media speculation in the run-up to the Falklands War that the Royal Navy's Sea Harriers would be VIFFing in dogfights to effortlessly destroy the Argentine Air Force, when in reality, no such thing was ever used in the Falklands conflict. One of these scenarios where VIFFing may be of some use is the Harrier's defensive brake, the simplest of all VIFFing scenarios. The Harrier will speed up but continue to pull G's to avoid the bandit's gunshot. As the enemy closes in for a shot, by getting closer to the Harrier, the pilot performs his unique defensive brake with normal acceleration, adding VIFFing to force the bandit to overshoot and therefore be killed. The next scenario is the climb and flip. The Harrier will climb in a steep spiral as the aircraft is losing speed. The enemy will close from behind, eager to get the gun kill. The Harrier pilot will pull well past the vertical, and as the speeds bleed away through the 200 knot level, he adds nozzles. This causes the Harrier to flip into a 90-degree nose-low attitude. At this point, the bandit has the option to pull into the vertical away from the Harrier or follow a semi-ballistic arching curve, putting him in front of the slow Harrier for an easy kill. Finally, we have VIFFing being used in an attacking role. As the Harrier closes in for the kill, the bandit tries to survive by performing the hardest possible defensive brake. The Harrier pilot will use VIFFing to avoid the overshoot. The Harrier moves outside the bandit's turn circle, and from here the bandit has the option to continue the brake turn, which will ensure his death as the Harrier is already on his 6, or he can reverse his turn, which will leave him slow in front of the Harrier, once again in an advantageous position to score the kill. At the end of the day, when it comes to real combat situations like the Falklands, VIFFing was not used. Let's go ahead and try a dogfight of our own and see if there's any application of VIFFing that can be used in a real dogfight. Alright guys, so here we are in the F5. I'm not flying the Harrier because I don't think I could do the VIFFing thing very well and show it off for you guys. So I got my buddy Shotgun, who has been doing this kind of stuff in the Harrier for a long time, to come and show us. You'll notice that I'm in the F5. The reason for that is because I think that this is the kind of plane that VIFFing might actually work on. If you try to do this on an F-16 or an F-18 or an F-15, you're going to look pretty foolish at the end of it. Right? They're just going to murder you with this whole VIFFing thing into the vertical. He's actually got a chance of making it work against the F5, but I'm still going to try to deny it best I can. Into the one circle turn, you can see the F5 is kind of giving him trouble with the one circle here. And this whole VIFFing thing, it's probably very similar to the Cobra. You know, it looks cool, it sounds cool. I'm sure it does have real world application, but it's got to be like perfect. You know, it's that 1% chance, lightning in a bottle kind of thing. If I was going to hit him, it was going to be right there. The Harrier can actually outrate me by 3 or 4 degrees. I think the best I can get is 12 or 13 degrees. I think he's doing it right there. Oh, almost hit me with guns there. I'm not sure if he did the VIFFing thing there. He probably didn't actually. He was just slow. But the Harrier is going to get about 17 degrees in the rate fight-ish. Look at the thrust coming out from underneath the Harrier. He's doing the VIFFing thing right there. There it is. Kind of just rolls it over. So he kind of did the climb and dive maneuver there a little bit. He went up there, he kind of stalled himself out. It wasn't exactly the same, but it was similar. Almost used it as a braking maneuver and then just dropped down behind me onto my 6 here. I am attempting... No, I can't do it. We're stuck in a 2 circle here. I was trying to see if I could reverse into the 1 circle. I'm going to try again here. And he's just having none of it. Because he knows as long as it's 2 circle, he has the advantage. By 3 to 4 degrees, which is pretty significant. Degrees a second there. I keep trying to force him into a 1 circle, but he just climbs over. He uses those nozzles to push himself up. And see, now I got no more altitude to play with, which means we're stuck here. And there he is, on my 6. This is very bad. And then he can use those nozzles to make sure he doesn't overshoot. It'd be very, very difficult to make him overshoot here. And he does have Fox 2s, so... that's why you see me popping the flares. I think he's just having some fun. There it is. Okay guys, here we go. We're going to do a quick little TAC view review. Got my buddy Shotgun here flying the red Harrier for us today. I'm flying the blue F5. Big thank you to Shotgun for helping out with this video. We got our TAC view review, and as we talked about in the past, guys, we're not going to do TAC view for every single video. It's just going to be, what do you call that? Like a as needed basis, right? So whenever we need it, we're going to do it. I thought this fight would be interesting. We can look at the VIFFing that the Harrier is going to do. It's the only part I really want to focus on in the TAC view. You'll notice the F5 here, I've tried to keep him in a 1 circle turn here throughout this fight. It's really the only thing that I think I can do against him. Here in the 1 circle, I get nose on and get guns off actually, and it actually does really come super close to him. I think he's somewhat lucky to survive that. So watch what happens here. The Harrier is going to come up here and he's going to stall out at about 120 knots. He's going to stall out right here. And then what's going to happen, in normal aircraft, you'll see them stall out and fall back down, right? But what you're going to see the Harrier do is stall out up here and then continue forward. And this is what the nozzles are capable of doing. And doing this is actually going to give him a gunshot solution as well. So it's quite the interesting little thing that the Harrier is capable of. So go ahead and watch this here. He'll roll it over. And he'll continue forward. See? Like, that's unusual behavior for an aircraft. But if you have nozzles like the Harrier, this kind of thing becomes possible. He gets a gunshot, almost kills me there. So almost literally uses VIFFing to almost get a gun kill. It's pretty interesting. The application, if used correctly, is actually, you know, something kind of interesting that the Harrier can do. And he's going to hang out up here. You can see he's reducing, like he's not going to just chase after me. He knows if he just hangs out up here, I'll fall and then he can get behind me on my 6, which you kind of see him doing here. He's down to a true airspeed of like 29, 28. 28's the lowest I see. And you can see he's basically just hovering here. And I fall down. And then he just falls down behind me. He uses his nozzles to throw himself down. It's very similar to the climb and dive thing that we talked about at the beginning of the video. It's not exactly the same, but it's very, very similar. And he ends up essentially pushing onto the tail of the F5. And then basically he sits here for a while. I think this is a proof of concept kind of thing. Just trying to show that the Harrier can sit back here and it's very difficult to make him overshoot. And then when he's nice and ready, he'll put a Fox 2 up your ass. So that's basically how that works. So the VIFFing thing, guys, from my impression is, you know, it's going to work against more primitive aircraft like the F5, the A4 maybe. But the Harrier is just so superior to the A4 that there was no need to use the VIFFing against the A4 and the Argentine Air Force, the Falklands conflict. And then the other aircraft they had is the Mirage, which honestly, I think the Harrier would have really done itself a disservice if it was to, you know, do this VIFFing thing and stall itself out against a Mirage. I think a Mirage could make you pay for doing stupid things like this. And I think it's very, very similar to the Cobra. Once in a lifetime, you know, a lightning in a bottle situation, it could be useful, but for the most part, I don't see much application for it. So, and the Royal Air Force obviously didn't, you know, see too much of an application for it as well, which is probably why it wasn't used in an actual conflict. Okay, guys, just my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.